revolution in Iran, and it is Saturday, the 16th of January, 2026. So, what exactly is happening? No, sorry, it's the 17th. That's right, it is the 17th of January. What does that mean? Well, that means it is the date, the earliest date that I've given as the ETA today or tomorrow, either tonight or tomorrow night, would be uh, days that would line up with a very sweet spot for a strike. However, I've also told you that the US may hold off for a variety of factors, at least until the 20th, when the next estimated pay date is for government, the Iranian government, to pay its employees, which, if they don't, could cause serious problems with the IRGC, or if they don't pay them enough, including the extra $7 bonus that they're expected to get. Um, if that's not enough for those employees, or if they don't get paid on time, but they probably will, we'll see. They should have enough funds for that, according to all reports. Then, either way, if either of those things happen, we could easily see the IRGC turn their guns on the government. That would not be a big surprise. That doesn't mean that the IRGC would be all of a sudden, as an organization, anti-Ayatollah regime. It just means that the low-level guys with the guns on the street would be aiming their guns at the higher level people commanding them, because as loyal as they are to their country or to their dictatorship, they also have families, so they're obviously loyal to them too. And that could be a big turning point if the US doesn't strike until then. Meanwhile, we're seeing reports that are full on mixed. A lot of it is propaganda, we know that. So, for example, there was a report yesterday, and some of it's a head fake too. So I'll actually start with the head fakes. Okay, Trump yesterday said that the indications are that the dying of innocent people has been slowing down. The killing of innocent people there has been slowing down, and therefore he's not likely to attack them anytime soon. Okay, could be for real, could be a head fake. Why could it be for real? Well, because apparently several Arab nations, mostly Gulf states, have said that they are convinced that he's not going to attack after they've spoken with him. So who knows? Maybe they gave him some kind of a super deal that he'll announce after, whether it benefits him or the country, or who knows what. Maybe he won't announce it. Maybe they just convinced him. If you believe that, I got a beach to sell you in South Dakota. Hello there, person saying hello. Oh, in Hebrew. Hi. Anyway, shalom aleichem, Shabbat shalom. So that's one of the things that had fake the update. We also saw, right, some propaganda stuff, a lot of it, in the supposed turning off of the blackout, right? They apparently lit the internet back up online yesterday at night for some time in Iran and allowed communications to flow again. Well, the truth is, that's not really the truth. What happened is telecoms were permitted to go out. And you guys remember a week or two ago, even 3 weeks ago at this point, I told you that if Iran has a revolution, one of the things that they're going to do, if it's not swift enough, is you're going to see the government turn off telecoms partially and then fully, and then turn it back on partially, and then allow internet back on temporarily, and then close it again. Also, that they could basically do their dirty work in the dark, unseen by, not very clearly seen by satellite, or not too clearly seen by satellite, and because a lot of it happens at night. And then the cleanup work would be done also, a lot of it at night. And then you would see a flood of information as soon as the internet was back on. And a lot of it would be propaganda, as well as a bunch of it would be from legitimate people if they could get online. Well, it seems that the legitimate people were the real, people of Iran were not able to actually get their content out during the very brief period in which the internet was supposedly turned back on. Most of what we've seen, like the vast overwhelming majority of what's come out of Iran in the last 12 hours, 15 hours at this point, is in fact just propaganda from the Iranian government. So we're seeing a lot of videos coming out where they call demonstrators terrorists. They call even revolutionaries who are using force, they call them terrorists, even though those people are literally fighting against a terrorist regime that spreads terrorism around the world. So they're doing that. They're using the old playbook of twisting the words around to reshape the narrative to be a complete lie. And of course, the idiots who've been supporting groups like Hamas and Hezbollah for so long, they will buy it because they take their marching orders from whatever organization tells them to believe whatever they believe. Manufactured protests, synthetic astroturf topics, the whole deal. So that's what we're seeing, a lot of complete fabrications, twisting of the truth coming out. And now, in the last 9 hours or so, they basically shut it off, right? So it was open for a few hours for government people and their supporters. It was not open for everybody. It was open for people that they know would put out content that favors them. Yes, some got through from regular folks who clearly are not on the bad list yet, if you want to say that, and who were lucky enough to have their phones reactivated with content, with contact to the internet for some hours, and they managed to get some content out. Some of those people, anyway. But the it's very little compared to the vast majority of what we're seeing. And we're seeing false claims that the size of the demonstrations has died down and nobody's protesting anymore in Iran since like Wednesday. It's provably not true. We have videos of people doing acts of revolution, not just protest, in Tehran since Wednesday. But they did it anyway. They said it anyway because what do you expect from a dictatorial regime? So nobody should be surprised by that. That is basically two of the main salient points of what's happening. In other news related to this, the U.S., after Trump said that he was not likely to strike Iran anytime soon, since he believed that the numbers of people being killed has died down, the USS Abraham Lincoln has arrived to within striking distance of Iran when they reached basically the coast of Oman in the Arabian Sea. So people are saying, well, it's still going to take another couple days to get where they want to be precisely. No, they're within striking distance. They can strike anytime. They don't have to be exactly at the north end of the Persian Gulf or anything. They could be anywhere along the coast and even further away. Iran's a big country, right? So they could have been even at the south end of the country and strike it just fine. They got plenty of distance with tomahawks and everything else they need to do, and airplanes and everything else they have on board. Aircraft carrier strike groups, which is a lot. You have to remember that every strike group that travels with an aircraft carrier, right, in addition to the aircraft carrier, which is a massive sailing fortress, right, with planes and drones and everything else, helicopters, and God knows what else, amphibious vehicles and all the strike group that accompanies it, battleships and destroyers, you name it. Those are, each one is stronger and more militarily capable than the armies of many countries, like put together even, right? A bunch of small countries put together don't have the firepower that one U.S. Navy strike group has. What do you call it? Aircraft carrier strike group, right? Those are massive, massive things. So when you deploy such a thing to an area, you're basically putting an army's worth of power, like an American army's worth of power, in a very small area with incredible amounts of firepower and capabilities to do all kinds of things, right? They are not trinkets, right? These are serious things, serious maneuvers. And when you move one, it sends a very, very big signal, okay? So this one having come to the Gulf area from the Philippines is a big deal. In addition to that, the U.S. also said that it has started putting back soldiers at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, as if to signal that, oh, all is well. We're not going to get struck by Iran, so we can send our non-essential personnel back to the bases. But we don't actually have confirmation that the people who are there are actually non-essential personnel. If anything, it's probably the opposite. Right? They're essential personnel that are just there now, beefing up the numbers. ready potentially for a strike. And we're seeing movements in and around other air bases. They're also showing that what's happening is this snowball isn't stopping anytime soon. It is rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger, and making the probability of an avalanche that the Iranian regime can't stop ever more likely. So, no, we're not seeing the kinetic energy slow down. We're not seeing any friction that can possibly stop this just yet. Hello there, everybody. I see you. Thanks, man. Thanks for all the comments and stuff. I really appreciate it. If you would do me a huge favor, please, and smash that like button and subscribe, and do all the things. That'd be great, so we can get the word out. And obviously, hit that bell so you can get updates on when I do the next live stream or other video that I post to this channel, where I talk about either geopolitics or the other things I normally talk about. If you care to follow or subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of pieces moving around the chessboard, and you don't move these pieces around lightly, right? This isn't something you just casually do because it's Saturday. Like, these are huge decisions, and you can believe that Trump is not going to do anything, according to his latest tweet or his statements about his tweet after the fact, because actually the tweet didn't say that, right? But as much as I'm a skeptic about this whole thing going to work out, he would have a lot of egg on his face if he didn't actually do anything at this point, especially given all the movements he's done. Now, he could be doing this all as just a way to get Iran to stop shooting people and then be like, okay, well, that's enough. I guess I won. If he got some kind of a special deal from his friends in Qatar or Bahrain or wherever, or Saudi. But it's still very unlikely, despite the fact that Israel may have objected to any strike for the time being because they think Iran is still too strong, like the government is still too strong to get rid of them. So it could be. And again, those are public statements that Israel said that. We don't actually know what they said behind closed doors, right? So I would say don't assume anything. Today's the 17th. That means tonight is an opportune time for a strike. If they do it, so is tomorrow night. And if not, the 20th or after, with the pay date issue. That's the quick update. And see you guys later. Peace. Shalom.